All right, what's going on? It's Bobby Skinner, Giants Nation Show, doing a draft film breakdown on the Giants' first-round quarterback, Jaxson Dart, out of Ole Miss. Same school as Eli Manning. Make sure to like and subscribe. For this video, we're going to do draft film breakdowns on all the other Giants draft picks. But once the draft is over and we get everything accounted for, we're not simply going to be, all right, let's move on from the draft. I'm going to break down each Jaxson Dart game individually that I have all 22 film of. So, going to be able to do all that. So, again, like and subscribe to the channel. All right, let's get into it with Jaxson Dart. So, again, a guy with a good arm, plays with, fairly good anticipation. There's times where he trusts the system too much. There's times where he doesn't trust where he's seen with his eyes. We're going to go through it all. We're going to go through, I'm going to show you, right? I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to show you in this film breakdown. So, again, like and subscribe. Now, the first thing we're going to go through is the anticipation throws that are in the Ole Miss offense. And I think that's his biggest strength, is the aggression with anticipation when he sees it, because he does that really well. And let's get into it. So, first play. Right, we got this receiver down here, Trey Harris, going to run it out. And just good timing on this. So Dart knows where he's going. Right, we got this corner playing from off. And Trey Harris sells inside. Right, ball's coming out of our hand now. Right, good timing on this. Bam. Not the perfect ball, but a really good ball. Good timing. Here versus Wake Forest. Similar. This time he's going to be doing it while getting pressure. Larger's going to wait for the ball a bit, but ball's out of our hand, right? Ball is here. He's just getting into that break. Again, you want to put that ball out more towards the sideline a bit, but again, with pressure barreling down on him, not able to step into that throw, complete a pass on that anticipation throw on the out. And then this is where you see it the most consistently, is on these sail concepts up top here. So this play versus cover 3, you've got the vertical here. All right, the vertical here is going to take care of the outside corner and then the deep safety. You've got this underneath route, and then you have the sail. So Dart has to read one of two things. One, is this corner going to match it and play it outside with outside leverage? He doesn't. And then is this corner going to keep carrying the vertical? And you got to be quick with that, right? And it's all right. Corner hasn't sagged off. Pull the trigger. Put it on him. Nice throw, right? Reading this corner. 2 reads. Good transition from 19. Nice chunk play. Next play versus Florida. Sorry, the Florida film is very grainy. It just is what it is. This is the film that I have for it. So this time, this is going to be the sail from split safety. So split safety. And they rotate into cover 3 sky. But with the strength of the safety to the field. So we've got the vertical. We've got the underneath. And then we got the sail. The sail in this zone. And Dart does a good job. See that little that turn with his shoulders? Right? That turn with his shoulders to move this linebacker or this corner out here. Moves him. Get our feet back lined up. Pull the trigger. Great ball. Great ball in between 3 defenders. Good timing. Again, anticipating, using your shoulders, right? Watch this shoulder fake. Just moves that corner. Make a nice play. Here again versus Florida. Right, this is the sail up here. This ball ends up being dropped. Maybe you call it overthrow, but I think it's a good throw. Again versus cover 3. Outside corner is carrying the vertical. This player is trying to sag off and take away the sail without declaring on the underneath for the back. He doesn't get enough depth. Pull it. Wall getting hit, right? pressure coming down the pipe, take a big hit, and that should be a money play. Again, he knows he's going to get hit. And the receiver alligator arms this. Could give your receiver a little bit of a better chance to make a play. But like that's a play that I believe that he should make. Next play again versus Florida, this time versus man. A little different. Right, but simple read. They're in a two-man. So they bracket up top, which leaves your tight end. He wins versus Shamar James, the linebacker. See it from the other angle, but just step up, pull the trigger. Right. We're reading the vertical to the left. Safety drops back to cover it. Just in man coverage. Again, you want that ball out here, but allows this tight end to make a play. A nice chunk play for Jaxson Dart and Ole Miss. Again, versus man coverage. That two-man. Again, same exact read, right? Man coverage carrying the vertical. Two deep safety. All right, let's trust our receiver on the flag. Look where that ball's coming out, right? We're getting into our throw now. Ball's coming out. Money. All right, that's his primary read. Finds it, gets it. Here versus Georgia. So like a different concept. It's like a scissors concept with the number 2 and the number 3. Versus, what looks like a cover 2 or an inverted 3. But regardless, you've got this safety, Dan Jackson, here. 6 plays deep with depth. Right, so he's going to take the corner. This safety also takes the corner. Right, he's reading off that safety. Once that safety opens up and declares, he knows he's getting here. Puts it past number 3's head. Chunk play for 11. Chunk play for Jaxson Dart. Again, with pressure barreling down. On him. Accuracy. Anticipation. Here versus Wake Forest. Now let's see him anticipate through the seams. Now, this is his first read here. You could get critical of this. So this is certainly not perfect, right? So you've got this speed out in the vertical. In reality, Dart the read player is here. Right? Like if this is man coverage, you want to throw the ball here. If it's not a man coverage and this corner squawks like he does, well, then you got a free big play, even though he's just there to outside release and pull this corner. And this is where, again, we'll talk about some other stuff. Like you want to see him see the field better and not just be stuck on it. But again, like either way, this is there. You could throw this, but he gets to the backside, and despite not being the read you want, does throw this seam ball with anticipation. Right, we see it. We clutch with it, get to the backside. We've got our guy up the seam. Make a play. Up top, another seam route, right? Run inverts. Run inverts versus cover 3. If they don't match it, where are they going to be vulnerable? Right here. Right here. And that's exactly where the ball lands. That's exactly where they're going to be vulnerable if they don't match and turn this corner into man coverage. Dart knows that, gets it over the linebacker's hand. Nice chunk play with anticipation. Here versus LSU, right? Another seam or, over the middle. This linebacker. That, robo technique, roll over back. Right? Our safeties are split. So we know we've got this area. And it's just like, how well does this linebacker cover this? Because we don't want to throw this check. Put it on him. Not the perfect throw. But he knows at this point, I'm throwing this. Let me just slide away from any pressure. Put it on him. 20-yard play. Here versus Florida. They're going to run this nickel blitz. So they run this nickel blitz. This linebacker's not able to get over and replace quick enough. This safety brings his leverage outside the hashes. Now let's get in this window right here. And Dart sees that blitz. He sees this linebacker wide and out. He knows where he's going. Right. Soon as Dart sees that this linebacker is not spot dropping over here, he knows where he's going. Put it on him, touchdown. And then this one is not as, it's receiver making a play too and safety not making a play. But, you get the seam versus man coverage, wins leverage versus Malachi Starks, first round safety. He stumbles. But Dart has this here, and this safety makes a bad play. But again, he throws with that anticipation. At this point, we're going. We're going. Maybe a tad late. Allows 3 to make a play. And that's exactly what 3 does. And there's other, more simple things where he just anticipates well and it leads to yak or a big play. On this one, it ends up being a touchdown. Right, a simple slant here. Right, he's got his eyes on it, but this corner has inside leverage. Right, he's trying to take away that inside leverage. But trusting his receiver, seeing his receiver's got leverage, get it on him, anticipate, good accuracy, and it leads to a touchdown. Again, simple, but good. Next play. This is one of the better reads I've seen Jaxson Dart make. This is a 4th and 2. I think Florida's expecting them to hand it off, obviously. Right? They have no safety deep. Ole Miss does not do that, right? They run mesh. Right? They run mesh. This is not open like they were hoping. Gators in man coverage. They've got the mesh covered pretty well, right? You got man. You got 2 underneath. They've taken it away. But Dart sees what it is. And what 11 is doing is instead of just running a drive, we're going to float this upfield, right? And Dart, 4th and 2. Hang in there. Beautiful ball. Right? And then, so the next thing I want to go through is the deep passing, right? He threw the ball deep 22% of the time. That's the most in the class. He's an extremely aggressive player, and that's good. And there's a lot of good deep passes in there, too. The bad is that he had basically the highest turnover-worthy play rate on deep passes in the class outside of Riley Leonard, right? His completion percentage was lower than the majority of the guys in the class. That comes with volume, but also with volume, you shouldn't have the turnover-worthy play. So let's go through the good, before we go into some of the passes that I felt like were underthrown or died out on him. First play here versus Florida, right there. Oh, whoops, I rewinded too much. All right, let's go. Fast forward. I'm a little loopy. All right, first play. Here we go. So you got this 2 high shell. They're in cover 4. We make this big throw. Touchdown. Now this comes back to bite him a little later. They're running a Mills concept, which is a dig in and then the post behind it, and they're attacking the safety. Right, they're trying to get this safety to bite on this player here, and then you throw it over his head because this outside corner is going to play with outside leverage because he's supposed to have the help from the safety. You get the post over the middle. They will love this concept. He hasn't ran it much with the quarterbacks that have been at play for the Giants, but it was, his last game as the Bills coach, they had like 3 touchdowns to Gabe Davis in that game with this. So Dart, good, reads this safety, throw it behind him. Right from the 50-yard line, 52, 53 yards, dot. And just right in the breadbasket for a touchdown. Next play versus Wake Forest up top, just this outside release vertical, perfect throw. Right? Simple read, man coverage, make the throw. Right? He knows where he's going. This safety's not impacting that. Make the play. Check the middle field safety. Line up your feet. Beautiful ball. Great catch by 3, too. Here versus what's going on here? Here versus LSU. We're going to throw this post. Again, that Mills concept. Inside receiver doesn't run it so well. This safety playing down. No help in the middle of the field. Dart puts it out there. Ends up getting dropped. This is a good ball. Ends up dropped by a receiver, Trey Harris. Going to throw another post here to Trey Harris. All right, reading this safety. This safety goes to take over the crosser. No middle field help. Get that ball in the middle of the field, right? You're reading the safety. He's not going to be here. Dart's throwing off of that, right? He's reading this player. Throw off that. Throw against leverage. You got the middle field open. Nice play. Again, he's reading that safety. Throws off of him. And this next one, wide open versus Wake Forest up top. But still, good throw. Right? Both these receivers follow the slant. Ends up being wide open. Touchdown. But again, he can throw a really nice deep ball, right? When it's hitting, it's beautiful, right? It's aesthetically pleasing. It's got good touch, fairly good, speed on it. It can be really good, but at the same time, there is negative when it comes to the deep ball. But the deep ball, again, is hit or miss, right? There's, overthrows. There's passing up some easy throws underneath. And there's underthrows, which is my major concern. Not major concern, but it's something that it needs to clean up. But, for example, this ends up being an overthrow. A little Yankee concept. You got the post and the over. This is an NFL-type concept, in an Ole Miss way, where you're reading this safety. Right, you're reading this safety, and he sees his leverage, so he throws the post, which, again, I like the aggression. But even if that safety declares on this over, you've got this, right? You throw this ball here, you get a nice chunk play. He throws a more aggressive post, and that's good. That's all well and good, but you got to hit it, and he overthrows it. I feel like he just too often fades away from these deep passes, which just leads to being erratic. Like here, we're gonna be aggressive. Love the decision, right? We're gonna throw down here, and the ball just kind of dies out at around, he's throwing that from the 10, around 50 yards, and it usually fails to the inside, like obviously behind and inside. and just like kind of fading away on this ball. And this one's not terrible, but again, allows the corner to come get back in there, let the safety make a play on it. Now let's watch up top here on this double move. All right, throwing it. Again, underthrown. Allowing that corner to get back in there. Make a play. Here versus LSU. I'm going to throw this post down here at the bottom. Ball just kind of floats in the air. All right, Dart's reading this safety. So he's like, all right, no inside help, even though the safety's coming over the top. We got some pressure, and you see just receivers tracking and just left waiting, and allows that corner to come in and get a hand on the ball. You see the receiver just waiting for it. And then again, there's overthrows. This overthrow down at the bottom, a couple yards in front of him. Here versus Florida, going to overthrow on this double move. Again, looking for the double move. I understand taking the shot, but this is an early down. We've got this, right? Throw this. Take the easy play. We go for the aggressor. And sorry, this film is like a potato, but it is what it is. We go for the aggressive throw, which is good, but we don't hit it. It's ahead and inside. Here versus Georgia. We got our guy. We overthrow it. This one high and outside. So again, love the aggression, right? Throw the ball deep 22% of the time. Don't love the amount of turnover-worthy plays, which we'll get to. And I think there's a lack of accuracy. I think it is something that can improve, right, as we talk about things that Dart actually improves. I do think that this is something that you get, better footwork at and work on. The other things I worry about, we'll get into. But I do think this is something that should improve, especially with some time to just, have a year on the bench and work on footwork and the fundamentals. The next part I want to go through is when the first read in a first read offense isn't there. How does he react to that? What is his, what does he do? Does he put his eyes down? Does he get to the backside of a progression? And this is where I think it's a mess, and it's kind of going to lead into some of the crunch time stuff I'm going to go through. This is the worrisome part about a guy who, listen, like we've went through some good things, but again, it's an offense that makes your first read like declared and allows you to go there and find success. What happens when you don't? Because this NFL, it's not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to succeed like that. So let's get into it. This first play versus Wake Forest. All right, so on the front side of this progression, you've got this clear out with the out route, right? They like to throw the out here. He could throw this out. It's a tough throw. Good coverage. But let's get to the backside, right? You got it versus man coverage. All right, a 5-man rush. We got the backside dig here, right? Clean pocket. You have this player in the middle of the field. And we bail from this clean pocket with this player following you. And then, again, it's not the worst mistake in the world, but then we just throw it up and it turns into an interception. Right? Get to that backside of that progression. Like, you've got a clean pocket. See if we can get this dig past this linebacker, right? Don't bail. See if our running back, this running back, breaks inside, and then you have the lane there. Instead, we go straight from our progression to running back, right? We don't even check the dig, right? It's like, where's my running back? Running back's covered, then run, right? And I feel like too many times it's first read, running back, run, and then when it's not there, you have panic plays and interceptions like this. Here versus Georgia, right? They run those free release hitches with the seam. Georgia does a great job covering the front side, right? They love to throw these RPO free release hitches, right? That's what he's expecting to throw here. But number 8, he does a good job. He's there to take that on. All right. So it's not there. That's fine. You've got this indie route right here. That's number 3 in your progression. Why aren't we throwing that? Instead, we're taking a sack. And you're going to see. Right, not there. Get to your third, get to the progression. Instead of firing this ball in here, now we try and run away. We take a sack. Here versus LSU, you get a blitz, right? You got, looks like we got this overhang linebacker. They give you, essentially a 6-man rush because the back stays in, cover 1 blitz. Well, if the blitz is coming from here, we want to throw into the blitz. That's where they're vulnerable. And if they're blitzing, we want to find the quick throw. We want to find the hot throw. These aren't the hots in this, right? That hitch slot fade, this is the hot. And instead, we just get stuck on it, and now we just got strip sacked. Right? We're reading the blitz, right? We're reading this linebacker. And instead of seeing the blitz, throwing into it, now we're coughing up the football. Here versus Florida in this potato film. Right? They like that sail concept. They motion into it. They got zone coverage. It's not there, right? The vertical's not there. The sail's not, you could throw that, but that's a ballsy throw. It's third down, so you don't really want to throw this. Well, guess what's your best friend when they do a great job covering the front side of a flood the zone concept? The backside dig, and that's what Lane Kiffin tags on top of this. Let's get to it. Instead, we get stuck on it, and instead of even checking the backside dig, we scramble and then I'm throwing the ball away. You got a clean pocket, man. You'd be lucky to get that in the NFL. Check on the backside dig. So there's not even a thought to check on that. We scramble and get out of there. Here versus Kentucky. This one's a little nitpicky because it doesn't open up right away. Right, you're running all curls. Right? You could maybe fire this ball, in here to this tight end, but we scramble, right? We scramble. Well, we can throw this ball now, right? That's there now. Instead of throwing this then, we act like we're Reggie Bush versus Fresno State, and we're not. We're not Reggie Bush versus Fresno State. And keep your eyes up. Throw this, man. That's there. That's there. Do not worry about that linebacker. He's not making that play. And instead you take, get a few yards. This is what we're looking at. Why are we running up through the pocket? I understand that there's room here. This is 2nd and 10. Give your tight end a catch. Give your tight end a catch. Instead, at any hint of pressure and our first read not being there, we're running up through the pocket and we're taking a sack. Here, these two receivers are going to clear out versus man coverage. We have the number 3 running a speed out. Right? So you got man coverage. You're reading this player essentially. Right? So they bail. Throw the out. Throw the out. Throw the out. Throw the out. Why are we looking back here? You have a clean pocket. You've got the exact look that you're looking for. These guys are in man. They clear out. Throw the out. Instead, we run around. We gain some yards. But we have to punt because we didn't convert on 3rd down. Throw the out. Give your guy a chance to make a play. Here versus LSU. This is a similar concept to what Brian Dable likes to run. Smash with, wide juke, Haas follow. Right? It's too high. So the front side of this progression is not where you're going to look. right? Because, they get in the cover 2, so the slot fade's not there. The choice route is bracketed, even though they turn the choice into a vertical. And then they hitch. So you get to the... excuse me, wrong one. I was like, what the hell? I don't remember the number 3 being a vertical. We got a smash concept. High-low. The high's not there. Or you could maybe try and take that throw, but I don't see it. It's first down. The low is. Get your running back. Right? Lead him. Let him get 5-7 yards. Maybe more. Instead, because the high's not there, we move off of it. Hank thinking maybe we could get to this deep pass back here. We don't. Sack. Throw it. What are we moving off of this for? Here's the play I was talking about, the Giants. So you got 2 high, cover 2, the slot. So you're not going to look at the front side, right? Slot fade's not there. The choice route is bracketed. The hitch, you're not throwing that. So let's get to the inverted wrap concept on the back, right? This is what we're looking for, right? Because we know they're going to have 4 for 3 over here. So you got 3 for 2. This safety plays high. Get this ball in here. Instead, we're running around. We know another ball that pops up and almost gets intercepted. This is it. This is the throw you're looking for. Right here. You have a clean pocket. This is it. What are we doing running around? So it's just, you see that consistently, and then, the next part we're going to get to, which is the crunch time issues. All right, so this is the crunch time stuff. And again, excuse the Florida film being so grainy. Kind of pissing me off, but it is what it is. So I'm going to go through their 3 losses. The end of the game of Florida, right? I think everyone's watched that. The LSU overtime, and the end of the Kentucky game. And so let's just go through it chronologically. First, right, we don't want to throw this hitch for some reason, so we roll out, overthrow into double coverage. Luckily, it's overthrown. Right? Luckily, that's thrown outside that safe, ahead of that safety. Next play. This is that shock concept we talk about so much on Giants film reviews. Why aren't we throwing this? We scramble, get some yards, so you salvage it. But again, why aren't we throwing that? And then here's where it becomes a mess. You got 2 high safety look. You're running that Mills concept we talked about with the over or the dig and then the post. We throw it in the triple coverage. What he's hoping for, which again, what did I just do? What Dart is hoping for is for this safety to run and take on this. And then you have the receiver with this middle field open. But again, even that is risky because of how far this safety is cheating to the boundary. But where's our indicator? Where's our indicator to throw this post? The issue is that there's nothing there. And he says it on the Gruden, QB camp. I'm predetermining throws, and I felt I needed to make a play. Well, you did for Florida. Again, that's inexcusable. Interceptions, and there's a play we'll go through that's bad, but it's I understand at least the thinking on that. That is a clear, listen, man, I'm playing an offense. They tell me where to throw. This is where I thought it was going to be, and it wasn't. But I still threw it. This dropped interception here, right? They're running that sail concept. Or, no, I won't say dropped interception, but right? You can at least see what he's reading, right? He thinks this player is going to take over take the underneath, and that this zone's going to be open. And again, I'm so sorry this film is so grainy. Throws that ball, gets his receiver jacked up. Predetermining where we're going. In the triple coverage. Next play. Not reading the coverage correctly. So he believes that this receiver up top here is going to convert this and have a hole shot here. But the way this corner is playing, right? This corner's not squatting. There's no underneath threat here for him. Why at the end of the game would he be squatting on something here? And again, look at where the safety's lined up and where he goes post snap, man. Even if that is a hole shot, that is not a great idea. We force it. I mean, look, the safety's at the sideline. This corner makes the interception. The receiver's like, man, what made you think I was converting that? And now a penalty takes that off the board. So, all right, we get saved, right? We predetermined to throw. We get saved by a penalty. And then the end of the game. Right? We scramble. And don't ask me to explain what's going on here. I guess maybe he's trying to throw the ball away. I don't know. But, I mean, this was a meltdown, man. And if this was a one-off, I'd be a little less worried. But here's overtime versus LSU. Underthrow into double coverage. Listen, it's ballsy, right? You throw a dime here, we're good. But we don't. And allow a DB to get the hand on the football and, possibly an interception by the other player if he doesn't. Predetermining. This is where we're going. I need to make a play. Yeah, maybe this gets intercepted. I think they both are going one-handed, so swap by both. So now, again, we got to get in the field goal range, right? We need to get in field goal range. Let's run dagger, right? We're not pressured, but we run into pressure. The ball gets overthrown. We throw it into a DB's hands. Right, you've got the spy here. What are we running up into this? If you want to make this throw, make it. Why are we running up into this and doing this shit? I mean, thankfully that corner can't catch. But you lose the game. You lose the game because of that. Here versus Kentucky. Kentucky's not as egregious. But you get down to the 34-yard line. It's a long field goal. But, let's get in field goal range, right? Need a field goal to tie the game. We got a rail route by the running back. Overthrow it. That happens. Not the worst thing in the world. Right? Again, so second down at our 34. Right? We're not throwing this dig. This dig's a little tough. It's not there, right? So you scramble. Good job. Throw this ball away. Where are you looking to throw this ball? This safety, where are you looking to throw this ball? We do the one thing we can't do. Again, maybe this safety does play this bad and you fire it in there and you're the hero. But we take a sack. Throw that ball away. And then you get a free play because of this bullshit offsides. Right? So hey, we don't throw the ball deep here. Let's go run and make a play. And again, you're lucky you got a free play here because bam, cough up the football. So now that gain of yards that we would have had. Well, now we got to, take the penalty. They miss the field goal, they lose the game. Again, all three losses for Ole Miss this past year, they fall right on the shoulders of Jaxson Dart. I promise I'm not trying to be mean, but I forgot to put this throw in there, and I feel like that's a part of the story. This is the beginning of the fourth quarter in that LSU game. And once again, feel like we're just predetermining reads, but also underthrowing, where you've got verts. And I understand wanting to take this throw, but the spacing's bad. I think that's concept-wise too. But just looking at this safety and saying he's flat-footed and throwing it, right? And if you hit it, it's awesome, right? But you got to hit it. And it's underthrown and then intercepted. Right, so that's just got to get better, right? I love the aggression, but if you're aggressive and you're missing, then you're considered reckless. That being said, there is some nice plays. Like this is a 4th and 11 in that Kentucky game, and I know this is you got to throw it up, but this is a even though again the safety plays this badly, right? The safety tracks this ball better. We never remember it, but like he does have arm talent. It's not it's not save you arm talent, but I mean this is from the 20, thrown across his body, 45 yards. Like that's a hell of a throw on a 4th and 11. Right? That's not just a nobody throw. Like it's very weird the way he throws this. But that's some arm talent right there. And then him as a creator, like again, I don't think he does it a ton, but he also has the ability. I think his eyes go down. And then I'm gonna let it finish the film finish with his running ability. You guys don't need me to break down his running. He runs. He's quick. He's fast. He's a tough runner. He's not like this super elusive, but he is someone you can incorporate into your quarterback run game. So in conclusion, with me on Jaxson Dart, good arm talent. Again, not the makeup for all your mistakes arm talent, but good arm talent. Aggression, anticipation. Those are the good things about Jaxson Dart. The question marks, is he first read or bust? And not just like first read or, a nicely easy check down, a first read or flat out bad decisions that lead to sacks and turnovers. Will he become someone who's better in the clutch moments in the NFL? Like those are all the things that you need to ask when you're trying to figure out Jaxson Dart. But a talented player. We'll see what happens with the New York Giants. He's obviously going to sit at least early on. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please share this, like, subscribe, and remember, this is not the last Jaxson Dart film breakdown. I'm going to go through every game of film I have individually. That way we can talk through some of the lesser concepts and stuff. And I'm excited to do that all summer. And we'll break down every other Giants draft pick. So appreciate you guys. We will see you on the next one. Until then, let's go Big